What is going on, Pats Nation? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global here, back with another video. And in this one, we are going to be talking a little bit about Jarrett Stidham and how he might actually have to get offseason surgery on his throwing shoulder, which is probably the worst thing that could possibly happen for Jarrett Stidham right now, especially because training camp literally just started. He is absent for the absolute start of training camp, and if he has to get surgery, he's likely going to be out for all of training camp. Now, what a ride it's been for Jarrett Stidham. As a former fourth-round pick by the team back in 2019, a lot of question marks have come up for Jarrett Stidham. In his rookie offseason, we saw a lot of poise. We saw a lot of potential in him, especially in the preseason, and that had a lot of people talking about, hey, is Jarrett Stidham the future? Then when Tom Brady left, the Patriots didn't have a quarterback behind Jarrett Stidham, and they hadn't had another quarterback until about late June, early July. Belichick himself even said how, he was comfortable with Jarrett Stidham and, was interested to see where things were going to go as they rolled forward with him. Now, unfortunately, the Patriots do end up signing Cam Newton. Jarrett Stidham is in a competition battle with Cam Newton during the, I believe, a week or two they actually were able to have of training camp last offseason due to the whole pandemic. But then Jarrett Stidham is out for a few days because he's dealing with an injury. This has been something that has been a nagging thing for Jarrett Stidham, and it's not something that's been a huge injury like he's tearing his ACL or he's tearing his Achilles or his MCL, but it's a nagging injury that just constantly comes back and bites him in the butt at the same time and at the wrong time. Now, this was a little bit of a surprise. I didn't expect things to be as bad as they were. And again, I'm not saying that this is like season-ending, career-ending, because I really don't believe it is. I believe it truly is just a nagging injury. But again, something that he has been dealing with for a minute now. But, again, he was out there in OTAs, out there in minicamp. It's just super unfortunate that this is happening right at the start of training camp where, hey, like Belichick himself said, this is the start of football. This is really where football begins. And, if you're Jarrett Stidham, you're fighting for your future at this point. You're not the future here in New England. They drafted Mac Jones. The battle is truly at this point between Cam Newton and Mac Jones, unless Jarrett Stidham somehow takes a big leap forward. So you're kind of fighting to say, hey, I'm QB3 on your roster, or hey, I'm a quarterback that could possibly be used as trade bait somewhere else. Now, concerns started to occur when everybody got out on the field, but nobody saw Jarrett Stidham. We end up finding out that Jarrett Stidham is dealing with this injury later on, and everybody was kind of thinking, all right, maybe it's just a day or two, he'll be out. But then I believe it was Jeff Howe. I believe he's the one that reported it, that things were not looking good for Jarrett Stidham and that he could actually be out for an extended period of time. Then we find out that recently released Packers quarterback, former Patriot quarterback in Jake DeGalia, was actually claimed by the Patriots off of waivers. So they are bringing the young quarterback back, which is not a good look at all for Jarrett Stidham because the Patriots are back to 4 quarterbacks. They aren't going to roll with 5 quarterbacks. I don't see, Jarrett Stidham somehow magically getting healthy and the Patriots saying, okay, Mac Jones, Cam Newton, Jake DeGalia, Brian Hoyer, Jarrett Stidham are all fighting for a spot because no, and they're not going to waste 5 roster spots on a quarterback. So I think this is a clear cut that things are probably done here for Jarrett Stidham. And I think a lot of people are saying, all right, well, could this be a situation where now Jarrett Stidham is going to be released? Or, hey, maybe they're going to trade him. But I believe that if Jarrett Stidham cannot get back into the mix and the Patriots are not able to rise that draft status, that maybe they decide to keep him around. Now, they aren't going to waste a roster spot on him, obviously, but maybe the Patriots are able, because of this injury, to kind of ghost that injury like they've done several times in the past in order to keep him around. Maybe they decide to place Jarrett Stidham on IR, which would end his entire 2021 season, but would be able to have him return for the next season if that's what they would like to do. Jarrett Stidham is still under contract for the 2022 season. He'll be a free agent for the 2023 season. So if the Patriots do want to kind of assure that he will be able to come back, compete for next year, putting him on IR would be the smart move, and it wouldn't be something that surprised me because we have seen the ability of Jarrett Stidham in the past, and in a year from now, Cam Newton's likely not going to be here. Mac Jones likely going to be your starter. Instead of being QB3, maybe Jarrett Stidham can fight to stick around and be the Patriots' backup quarterback. At this point, it would slightly shock me to see Jarrett Stidham traded at this point because if he's not able to get into camp, I don't really see him getting too much playing time in the preseason. Therefore, that's not going to rise his stock at all. In fact, him being injured is lowering his stock. And I think that at that point, the Patriots would have liked to have risen his stock, made him look good, made him play well, and make him more marketable in a potential trade to be able to get some draft capital back. But if they're only looking at maybe a 6th to 7th round pick for Jarrett Stidham, maybe you decide to say, you know what, we're more comfortable with placing you on injured reserve, having you back for next offseason. Now, a lot of this is still speculation. We're not 100% sure how long Jarrett Stidham is going to be out. Again, it is that throwing shoulder, which is something serious. It's nagging, and again, it's not ACL, MCL, Achilles tear, but it is still serious enough for the quarterback, and it's something that's bothering him, and it is something that, if it requires surgery, is going to definitely plague him a whole lot more. If he isn't able to, or if he doesn't have to get surgery, maybe he can get back a little bit, but I just think at this point, the best case scenario for both sides, both Jarrett Stidham and both for the Patriots, is keep him out, keep Jarrett Stidham out, make sure he gets fully healthy, have him come back a year from now, compete, go from there. If he has any sense of trade bait, then trade him then. But maybe at that point, you're just more comfortable being your backup quarterback, your QB2 behind Mac Jones. Because truthfully, at this point, with now these nagging injuries and him not going to be able to be out there and showcase himself in the preseason or training camp, his draft stock is just going to get lowered. There's no way that it is going to get risen. So I would say if you're a fan of Jarrett Stidham and you wanted him to stick around, you didn't want to see him released or didn't want to see him get traded, then I actually think this could be a good sign. But if you were someone who did want to see him go, did want to see him get traded, probably not a good sign for you. Before we end this video off, though, I do want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this video and the sponsors of this channel, betonline.ag. Guys, if you do like betting, you like going to the casino, make sure you guys check out betonline.ag. They have the fastest and the easiest ways to bet on all of your sports action. Football might be over right now, but NBA, college basketball, and the NHL are full swing. And BetOnline covers awards, TV shows, and reality TV with real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. BetOnline also has you covered for all of the news, scores, and odds, and it's the best way to place your bets, and it's completely free to sign up. All you guys got to do is head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. Get in with the action, and don't forget to use that promo code CLNS50 to receive a 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. But Jarrett Stidham is dealing with a shoulder injury with his throwing shoulder, might require surgery, could definitely keep him out for the entirety of training camp, potentially preseason. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video and subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news and training camp recaps. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Like always, go Pats. Catch you in the next one.